And speaking of exciting, as we had, let off with, we've been busting our ass to get some profiles out for you guys. Each week we're in here. I mean, even during some of the draft stuff, you guys are like dropping free agent names and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we're like, okay, we're going to give you guys what you want. And so we, again, tried to get a bunch of draft profiles, scheme fits, financial fits for you guys up on the website. And so if you go to cover1.football, in the very top right, you're going to see Buffalo Bills free agent target. You click that, you're going to get this landing page. And we have, I want to say, up over 20 profiles already up on players that we think are financial or scheme fits. And we're talking all different tiers. Guys that are like, I don't know if they can really afford this unless they make some moves financially with contracts they already have. And guys are like, no one really even knows about, but that are really good players, and guys that caught our eye when we're, scouring the internet, film, and statistics. And so we're going to go over some of those guys tonight. So, Anthony, let's kick off, man. Let's take a look at the free agent list that you prepared tonight. We're going to take a look, and we're going to start at the bottom, guys. All right. We're going to start at the bottom at 8, kind of work our way towards number 1. Again, a guy that made both lists for us, number 6 overall. And so the next guy, number 5 on your list, wide receiver, Noah Brown. He is number 7 on my list. And so I want you to talk about Noah Brown. He's another guy. If you're talking physicality, Noah Brown brings that. He brings a hammer in all phases of his game.
So he's somebody who had been on my radar all season, mainly because of my love for Tank Dell, by extension, brought me to this Texans offense this year. And the season, obviously the Texans season, but statistically and advanced metrics wise, Tank Dell, Noah Brown, and Nico Collins had phenomenal years from an advanced metric perspective. Like Nico Collins being one of the best receivers consistently in like EPA per target and a bunch of advanced metrics pieces like that. And so I'd seen a bunch of Noah Brown, and I didn't look to him initially for the Bills because you and I both talked about the wanting more speed into the receiver group, and especially from the wide receiver 2 spot. And he's not really a speed guy, runs in the 4.5s, but he runs a 4.5 at 6'2", 215 pounds. And watching the tape, he wins vertically a bunch, and he wins vertically a bunch, especially in this Texans offense. This Texans offense was a downfield, explosive, vertical kind of offense, and he wins
like you're seeing there, right?
Exactly.
Anthony, 27.3% explosive target percentage. That was 16th overall among all wide receivers last year. Again, you talked about height, speed, measurables. He doesn't seem like he'd be a vertical guy, but he was explosive last year, as you see down the field on that deep over.
I got some more advanced metrics for you. So out of 80 wide receivers in 2023 that had at least 50 targets, he was 20th in EPA per target, 31st in yards per route run. But here come the big ones: 6th in yards per target, 4th in yards per reception, 12th in first down percentage, 17th in QB rating when targeted, and 19th in average depth of catch at 10.4 yards. And a lot of these big ones downfield that you're seeing, you watch him, like, he runs pretty much, he has some pacing, but he runs a lot of his routes at full speed, but he's quick out of his breaks. He sells routes with body language, with body lean, with his eyes. He can separate with physicality in the stem, but that quickness in and out of his breaks where he doesn't really have to change his gait, that's a lot of the ways that he wins. And you're seeing a really good representation in this video package of how he wins. Those deep sit routes or deep hooks, the deep overs, the posts, the corners. He has a nice ability to win in the scramble drill. He'll look for space and uncover, and he's very QB friendly. He's also tough after the catch. Like, that's where you see that 6'2", 215-pound frame start to work. And that play right there too is a really good example. Like, he gets the safety to open up by his body language and lean in that stem. You have him highlighted there. Like, he presses upfield, look where his eyes are, his body, and then that's it. It's not the most sudden or sharp route, but he puts that foot in the ground, safeties turn the other way. Boom. Here's a nice one too. Like, just what he can do underneath. I think he offers you a lot of versatility. He's also a good blocker in the run game. He can crack down on edges and linebackers and safeties. He's got a real nice clip against the Bengals on a touchdown run for Devin Singletary, where he blocks down on Murphy, the edge, and just pins him completely and then flexes after it. Yeah, so he gives you a lot of versatility.
I like his versatility. I like his size. I like his physicality. Again, that's kind of the trait that I picked out for him when it comes to Noah Brown. He carves out release lanes with his physicality, again, with his size, with his strength. He gains leverage against defensive backs with his physicality. And as you mentioned, post catch, no one wants to tackle this guy. He's difficult to bring down post catch, allowing him to maximize those opportunities by transforming routine plays, stop routes, for 7 yards into first downs or explosive plays. And finally, I put he excels at finding voids and zone coverages down the field, as you saw in a lot of those shot calls right off of play action where they're playing quarters coverage. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to push to the middle of the field. I'm just going to sit down in front of the safeties behind the linebackers and find those big plays, especially some of those plays, as you mentioned, against the Bengals. He's a guy that, he could probably be a good solid number 2 for most teams. And I think that's probably where we would fit him in many ways, kind of the Sherfield type role, maybe even the Gabe Davis type role, but maybe a little more versatility in the short to intermediate area, more yak ability in those areas. Greg projects a 2-year, $8 million, $4 million AAV contract with $6 million guarantees. So a modest contract when you're talking a wide receiver. And I do think he benefited, of course, with some really nice weapons on that offense. Good quarterback who had a great rookie year in CJ Stroud and a great play caller and Bob Slovic. So I do think he's a solid player. And that's why he made both of our lists tonight.
Yeah, and what's nice too is there are games, unfortunately for some of their players, but there's games where Nico Collins is out and Tank Dell is out. And so Noah Brown is the 1 or the 2 in that game. And it's not like his production dipped. Like he actually had monster numbers in those games where he was more of a focal point in the offense. And yeah, it's just a nice little skill set to add. And I love the point too, you mentioned like how he's able to find that space downfield against zone. And I think that attaches well to just his ability overall to attack defensive back leverage. Because again, he's not the shiftiest or the suddenness or the most sudden or sharpest type of route runner, but he knows how to get defenders in general, how to turn, how to open up. And once he sees that, he capitalizes on it and moves the other way and gets open consistently, especially downfield. And that works in this Bills offense.